Okay, part 2, thanks. I have written out what I'm gonna talk about, and I'm just gonna kind of read it, so I'm not gonna keep eye contact or whatever as much. And I wrote it like if I were to post it on my blog, which I probably will, but I don't know, I'm just gonna read it. So growing up in a Mormon household as an Indigenous child has been a complex journey. And there's a specific narrative within like the Book of Mormon about a group of people that have had fallen people with dark skin, and it like always made me feel weird about my own racial identity. And they really were like, oh, they were cursed, and like that's why they have dark skin, but if they are repent or whatever, then or like, yeah, they have to say, oh, I'm so sorry for being, I don't know, it's just stupid concept because it doesn't make any sense, right? Okay, but it doesn't like, it hurt my self-worth. And it just like, I'm lighter, and my other adopted sister, she has a darker skin tone. And it was like always our proximity to whiteness was how we were treated, if that makes sense. Our proximity to blackness, is that what I said? Our proximity to blackness was how we were treated. Yeah. Most of the time it was just ignored. Like, I didn't understand what racism was as like growing up. Like, graduated high school, like, it's embarrassing. Okay? Or like what consent was, or like just real fucked up stuff. We'll talk about it. But so the cultural disconnect was like a really big aspect of my experience, and like my Indigenous cultural heritage, whatever, it wasn't embraced in our household, especially within like the Mormon idea of a household. Okay. So I always felt like, hey, yo, I'm different. I don't know. So, oh yeah, so it's challenging to reconcile the teachings that, with my lived experiences, and that led to a lot of cognitive dissonance as I grow older and become more aware of like the historical and like doctoral issues. And I'm 26, but I knew when I was younger that there was stuff wrong. Like, I just felt it. I didn't know how to talk about it, obviously. Like, maybe didn't have the vocabulary, or I wasn't in the safe space. But I never liked it. I felt that people were faking, like, people who like gave their testimony, they'd be up there and like crying. I'm like, I feel the Holy Spirit. Everyone have a good Sunday. I love you guys so much. Okay. I respect religions, but not white supremacist cults. Okay? That are severely like, it's a patriarchal organization. You know, look up Warren Jeffs. There's multiple cults like the FLDS, like, that have come based off of this, the ideas and teachings of Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon. Okay, we'll keep getting into it. Don't you worry. Um, okay, so the impact on family dynamics, like when your cultural identity isn't recognized or respected, is felt. Okay, it's like other people of color or black people or brown people, like whatever, like, you know, they know. And a lot of white people, or they really want a concrete tactical, or they just want a very plain, oh, they called you the N-word, oh, that is racist or whatever. But it's like, no, they just looked at me the wrong, like they just looked at me and I knew. Or like you can feel their, like, so try to explain that to really a narcissistic mom who had her own, a lot of different issues. Okay, my dad raised us mostly. My mom acted like an empty nester, even though like she knew we were coming. Like it wasn't like an unexpected pregnancy. Like they paid lots of money and waited lots of time for me and my little sister. But most of the time that we were growing up, she spent time going to all these exotic places. Like literally she's been everywhere. Like Antarctica, she's been to Fiji, she's been to places that I don't remember the name of. Like, and she spends weeks and months and goes on girls trips and beach trips, and get mad at us when she came home and we were like either okay with her not being there because we got used to our own little thing as me, my little sister, my dad, you know, whatever, complex. And then my mom was dominant, or like she ran the household, and so my dad never stuck up for anything. Whatever she said goes. And even to this day, he'll make promises or he'll say things, and then it's the next day he'll say the exact opposite, which is fucks me up. So during the pandemic or whatever, I explored a lot of like my identity and like the Indigenous culture, and I learned about how when the Mormons went to like Salt Lake, Utah, they killed a lot of Native Americans, and then they would adopt their children and or sell them or buy them, I'm sorry, as like slaves and laborers, and then they would like save them with their religion. I don't know, so fucked up, right? So sorry, I'm just kind of skipping through it. I don't really want to like repeat myself. Oh, there's two different names. Oh, Walker War or Black Hawk War. That was one of like the wars, I guess, between like the Mormons and like the Native Americans at the time. And it was because there was a lack of resources. So it was a whole bunch of like white people showing up, and they're like, well, oh, we can't survive with you guys living here, so they just kill them, you know? And the church still has their own program, like how the Catholics had the Indian or like the boarding schools. Mormons had them too. A specific program. We'll get into it. Yeah, the dark history of forced adoptions and the use of Native American children as means of cultural assimilation is deeply troubling. The practice of taking Indigenous children from their families under the guise of saving them mirrors the same exact thing of my adoption. Okay? Same thing. All right? And yeah, it's just a cultural erasure of like identities of all Native people that they fucked with, you know. So yeah, white and delightful, that was mentioned so many times, of like that's what they wanted to turn us into. Yeah. And so a lot of the Mormon, well, it was started because of this guy Joseph Smith, right? Book of Mormon. He practiced polygamy and polyandry, which is when the woman was already married to someone else, but he still marries that woman. And there's many personal there's journals published by his wives, because he had like 37 or something, and of like the family members who were like it was forced on. It was like, if you don't believe in God, or like you don't have faith in me to like lead you to like the promised land and to heaven, you know, like you have to trust me. I would never leave you wrong. So you're gonna let me marry your daughters. It was really fucked up. And there's one of them, and it was a father, and he was like, he couldn't eat or sleep or whatever for 3 days, and or something, because he was like, he knew what was gonna happen. Okay, Joseph Smith is a pedophile. He was 37, and his youngest wife was 13 or 14. Okay, multiple of them. And it contradicts a lot of it, and my point is not to explain it to someone, to like explain it all exactly perfectly, because this is for my family, kind of, mostly, and so they know what I'm talking about. So some of the vocabulary, you know, they will know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm sorry if I don't explain a lot. I'll answer whatever if you want. Okay. Also, with the Mormon religion, there was the LDS policy blocked Black people from having the priesthood, which is like a special blessing to, I don't know, it's like a respected position, but in a spiritual sense. Okay, but anyway, they weren't allowed to do that until 1978. 1978. Okay. And the church disavowed past. Oh, hold on. Yeah, the church talked about it in an essay. They disavowed the theories of yesterday's prophets, seers, and revelators for their theological, institutional, and doctrinal racist teachings and revelation. Okay. Another big thing is like, he supposedly got the translation for the Book of Mormon from these gold plates, a gold book essentially, that was buried in a hill by people like 7,000 plus years ago, that somehow Joseph Smith found and is translating. Let me get into it. It's proven that Joseph Smith, that it was a hoax. It was like the 19th century hoax The local newspapers wrote about it, making fun of it. Like, it was, they did different tests of like chemicals and stuff, and it wasn't made prior to, obviously. So obviously fake. And many people, like, in the, I don't know, there's just so many different things. And Joseph Smith and a lot of the other people at the early start of the Mormon church were Masons. They were part of that. And he took a lot of those rituals and ceremonies and brought it into the church. So, like the endowment ceremony, when you get married, they used to do rituals in the temple where you would like prick your finger and like do blood promises. And it's up until recently, dude. Like, it's so bizarre to think about. Yeah, one of the things, why did the church remove the blood oath penalties and the 5 points of fellowship at the veil from the endowment ceremony in 1990? What a handful. This is all coming from the CES letter, if you Google that. Many languages, all free PDF, free little PowerPoint, and everything has the resources, sources, links, evidence to everything that they say. Like, it's a fake religion. It's a cult made by a white man that just wanted to be in power and be taken seriously and sleep with young girls and be thought of as a great, I'm gonna go to heaven and I can take you to heaven if you believe in me and let me do whatever. I don't know. And a handful of, like, the Book of Mormon says, like, contradicts, like, archaeology and genetic evidence. Like, they talk about groups of people, or he was from, like, the Great Lakes area, New York, little, like, Ohio, yeah. And he would just take the names of the cities and change them a little bit, and boom, that was an ancient town millions of years ago. Like, first of all, as an adult, how can you fucking really believe this? Like, put your time, money, and energy towards this, and you send your children on missions to go teach other people this? You have no critical thinking skills. You're stupid. Show me your college degree. I know you have them. How did you do that if you're fucking stupid? I'm not kidding, actually. Oh, yeah. It's just, I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna give a pause here and give